So you want to manage other people. Why? Hi, I am Miriam and I teach emotional intelligence skills. The why really matters. So emotional intelligence skills are skills, which means they're usually things you do, thoughts you think, actions you take, even emotions you practice feeling. Before that, though, you gotta know a few things. So what do I mean by that? There are a few ways of looking at the world, a few beliefs you have to have first before emotional intelligence skills can actually work. We can only see and hear what we already believe. Now, one of the key things, the key bits of knowledge you have to have first is that you are only responsible for yourself. When you try to manage other people, what you're doing is you're taking responsibility for somebody else. And that's not going to work. First of all, you cannot change anybody. People change all the time, but you can't, it's not you doing it. When you want to manage other people, what this really means is just another word for control. You want to control them. Now, why? Why would you want to feel like that? I mean, when I just replaced management with control, how did you feel about that? Were you like, yeah, totally? Or did you think, no, wait. I do not want to control anybody because control is bad. But management is the exact same thing. What you are interested in is you want to change how people feel, you want to change how people act, you want to make them do things you think are right. That's control, textbook control. Or management, as it's now called. Now, how did you get here? And it's really important to understand that. Why would we even think we were responsible for somebody else? For somebody else's behavior, and even weirder, for how they feel? Well, we are trained into this kind of thinking. As children, we are trained into thinking that we are responsible for how our parents feel. Clean up your room or mommy will be sad. Eat up your food or daddy will, I don't know what. I'm not a parent, so I don't know what parents say these days. I just know that I grew up thinking I was responsible for how my parents felt. They would blame me. My dad would be angry with me when I was too loud. But here's the thing, he wasn't really angry with me. He never learned how to regulate his emotions. So he would take his anger out on other people. And of course, he, like most of us, learned that when I'm angry, somebody's got to be responsible. And it's not going to be me. Because that's how it works. That's the blame game. We learn that we are to blame for how others feel, and in exchange, we get to blame them when we're not at our top form. As long as you play this blame game, as long as you think other people are responsible for how you feel, you can't change anything. Because what you do then is you are trying to control them. You're trying to change how they behave. You're even trying to change how they feel. Oh, don't be sad. If you're sad, I'm going to feel sad too. I don't want to feel sad, so I'm going to make you happy. It's quite weird, but that's how we are raised. And that's how we are trained to behave. You got to understand that you've been doing this for years, probably decades. And you were literally trained into this kind of behavior. Think of school. Think of something like group work. There you were in a group. Maybe you were the nerd like me. Maybe you were the goody two-shoes who actually did the work. And then you were in a group with other people who might not really have shared your work ethic, your idea of what you should be doing. So either you ended up doing more work than everybody else, or you ended up having a project you might not actually have been happy with. And then you felt responsible for the result. because others made you responsible. You got 1 mark for everybody. So you learned to associate responsibility with outcome. And maybe even back then, you might already have tried to manage the people in your group. I certainly did. Then you go on to university, more group work, more of this kind of stuff. Then you come to start working and you are in teams. Maybe you are the supervisor, maybe you are the team leader, maybe you are the manager. The manager who's responsible for what everybody does. So what do? You're supposed to be responsible for the outcomes. And the only way you have learned to handle this kind of situation is by trying to control others, because that's what others did to you. They managed you. They tried to control how you act. They tried to control how you feel by manipulating you. So that's what you learn to do, and that's what you're trying to do. Now, I want to be really, really absolutely clear about one thing. You cannot change other people, and when you try, it is always, always, always manipulation. Control, management, they're the same. Manipulation, it's the exact same word. You are manipulating other people into getting the results you want. Now, you are in a work situation and maybe your boss, who has not watched this video, is telling you that of course you are responsible for what other people do. Of course you are responsible for the outcomes. And the only means they give you is the exact same ones you've learned all your life. Control, 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 control. Punishment, reward, punishment, reward. Control people, make them do what you think they should be doing to get the results your boss said you need to get. Control, control, reward, reward, punishment, punishment, punishment. What happens over time? Well, first of all, it's exhausting because you're failing at it. You cannot really control other people. You are bound to fail. You're doomed to fail at it. The second part is when you try that, you are actually using a lot of energy. A lot of energy, because trying to control others, trying to do the impossible is quite exhausting. The next thing is, what does it do to you? You become this kind of controlling person. When we see the extreme, we call it micromanagement, but that's just the extreme. Giving people a job to do and then trusting them to do it, that's one option. But we learn not to do that. We learn to double check, to give people tasks and explain to make sure they know what they're doing, and so on. Control. That makes you a controlling person if you practice this behavior for a long time, and it will spill out into other areas of your life. You might become controlling in your relationships, your private relationships. You might not be able to exert this control at work, so maybe you are really just controlling at home. It's bad for you. It causes you anxiety because you try to change behavior you cannot change. It causes you maybe anger. Resentment is a low form of anger, because when people do not do what you need them to do, what you think you need them to do, then of course over time you grow resentful. Why? So I'm laughing about this now. How did I get to this point where I just look at it and think, this is all really wrong? It's wrong for you, it's wrong for the people who work with you, it's wrong for the people who live with you, because it's stressing everybody out. And that's never a good thing. So what can you really do instead? The only thing you are responsible for are your own actions and your reactions. What's the difference? Reactions are just actions you practiced so often in combination. They're part of a system. So you have a thought about an event. This thought triggers an emotion, and this emotion leads to an action. A slightly different version of this is you have lots of thoughts about an event because you learn to tell stories about what happened. These stories trigger feelings like guilt or shame. Feelings are a mixture, a cocktail of emotions, which often feels very confusing. And they also lead to specific behavior, to actions. Practice these actions often enough and you have reactions. You act automatically without thinking about it. You act so fast that you don't even know what happened and you've already acted. Let me give you an example. Let's say you learned the blame game like all of us. You are at a coffee shop and you get the wrong order. You have thoughts about it. What these thoughts are is entirely learned or practiced over time. So you may think something about, oh, I need to punish this person so they do better next time. So you feel self-righteous. What do? You complain. You might shout even. But this is a reaction. So this is actions you learned to do over time. When you get the wrong order, you complain. When your spouse does something wrong, you complain. When your children do something wrong, you complain or you shout or you punish. These are the reactions you learned. Now, you are in control of these. You're in control of this whole system. You can practice new thoughts. You can practice new feelings, new emotions. And you can practice taking action instead of reacting. What would this look like? So the barista gives you the wrong order. What do you think about it? Well, shit happens, eh? How do you feel about it? Relaxed and maybe curious. I wonder whose order this is. How do you act? So you pause and you think about, okay, what do I want to do now? Well, I want my right order. So you just politely ask, is this somebody else's order? Because this is mine. Maybe you even start chatting to a stranger because you got their coffee. Who knows? Totally different scenario, totally different scene. And the only thing that changed is you. That is what you are responsible for. Your own thoughts, your own emotions, and your own actions. Now, emotional intelligence skills teach you how to do that. Emotional hygiene teaches you how to get your base levels low enough so you do not react on strong emotions like anger, so you don't shout at people for no reason. Self-awareness teaches you to actually see the patterns you've learned over time, the ones that have become automatic, the thoughts you automatically think, the emotions you automatically feel, the feelings you automatically feel, and your reactions. That's self-awareness. And then you can learn, these are the two basic emotional intelligence skills, and then you can learn other skills like how to self-regulate your nervous system, how to tune into your intuition so you always know what to do next, and so on. But first, you gotta understand and embody the knowledge that you are only responsible for yourself. Okay, how do you do that? Now you've watched the video, this is important, this was step 1, and it's good. You're still here. Fantastic, congratulations. This is getting the information. So I just shared this with you and you got the information, and maybe you sat there and thought, yeah, she has a point. I am exhausted. I really don't want to control people at work anymore because it's not working. And I feel really stressed. I deserve better and they deserve better. They deserve trust, don't they? I mean, if I was them, I wanted to be trusted. I want my boss to trust me, but I can't control them either. So I gotta start with me. Awesome, I'm ready. That's the first step. It's learning about this. But now we come to the next one. Information by itself doesn't actually matter. You have to understand it, so fully grasp it. And when you understand it, when you take the time to fully grasp it, it becomes knowledge. How do you do that? You digest the information. So anytime today, maybe right now, or maybe later in the day, I want you to set aside 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, and sit down. Set a timer if this helps you de-stress. Set a timer and sit. Think about what I just told you. Think about what I explained, why you are only responsible for yourself. Think about your past. What are the experiences you had in the past that agree with what I just said? When have you felt like other people were managing you, but it's really kind of controlling? When have you felt like you tried to make other people do things the way you were taught to do it, controlling, punishment, reward, punishment, reward. And it didn't work. Or it worked, but it was exhausting, which is a very high price. So think about moments in your past. Remember. So this is understanding. It means you connect the new knowledge you just learned with stuff you already know. Experiences you've had, you've lived them. This is very crucial for the next step, because that is knowledge. That is insight. That is learning from your own personal experience, looking at maybe memories you've pushed away because they didn't fit into the whole, yeah, but I must control people mindset. It's okay. That's what we were raised to do. But it's time to let go. That's why you're still here. So 15 minutes to 30 minutes, sit down, think about what I just said. Think about your life, think back at moments when other people managed you, when you tried to manage others. Journal about it if this helps. So verbalize that knowledge in some form. Write it down, journal. Or if you don't like to journal, I get it, I've been there. Speak it out loud. So you can record yourself if you wish. You do not actually have to. Just talk to yourself. I really mean this. When we verbalize knowledge, when we explain stuff we just learned, we don't actually need somebody to be there. We can just do it out loud. It activates a different area of our brains. And that means that we learn the information again with another area of our brains. Repetition is important. Now, this is step 2. So you have the information, you're going to turn it into knowledge. Step 3, tomorrow, learn or add one emotional intelligence skill to your skill set. Focus on yourself. So embody the knowledge. You could do, the simplest is to just add one emotional hygiene technique to your day, just one new habit that helps you regulate your nervous system. Or decide that you actively want to learn a new emotional intelligence skill. Maybe it's self-awareness of your emotions, or maybe it's self-awareness of your thoughts. So actively decide that you want to do that. Maybe you want to go bigger. Maybe you want to go to learning how to be at peace, how to return to peace anytime, or how to love yourself, or really how to tune into your intuition. It's up to you. But tomorrow, embody the knowledge. Learn one technique, one emotional intelligence skill, or start with it better, because it takes time. Start with it. And that is how you let go of trying to manage people. Because here's the thing. Why do you want to manage people? Because you were taught that you have to. But you don't. It's a false belief. It's a limiting belief. It's what I like to call a big fat lie. So, who are you really responsible for? Yourself, and only yourself. Give yourself and the people in your life the freedom to just let them be. And then focus on what really matters. Taking one deep breath and leading the life that actually makes you happy. All right. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, click like. I am a human being. I do get very motivated when people like my content. It makes me want to make more. Subscribe if you want to be notified for any other video. And if you want any help with emotional intelligence skills, if you're not sure where to start, I'll put a few links into the description. Have a wonderful day. And thank you very much for being you.